Welcome to the Charity Connector. Hosted by Dominic Fenton and produced by Grow Radio, we give you an insight into the hearts of charities making waves in our world.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Charity Connector. I'm your host, Dom Fenton, and we are here with a new episode. Hi Jackie, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very good. It's great to have you here with us today. So, Jackie,
for
for people who don't know you, why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners and the viewers?
Okay, well, my name is Jackie Creek and I work for a local charity, which is Homestar Essex, and I am part of the fundraising and marketing team.
Brilliant. Okay, so Homestar Essex. Talk to me about Homestar Essex. Talk to me about what you do, how long you've been going, why it was started. Just give us some sort of background in terms of the organisation.
Okay, well, we are a child and family support charity. So we support families with young children, and our aim is that we're helping to give children the best possible start in life. So this is by supporting parents and caregivers to feel less isolated, to build confidence in themselves and their parenting, and to find ways to manage many challenges that they face. So at the core of this is our home visiting service. So we've got a bank of volunteers that would sort of meet with the family in the home. So what we do is we match up a volunteer with a family, and that volunteer would then go around and visit the family for a period of, say, 2 to 3 hours per week and just offer some practical and emotional support. The Home Start movement actually started back in 1973 with a lady called Margaret Harrison, and we've been going ever since then. So even though we are local, we are part of Home Start UK overall, and there are lots of different Home Starts all through the country, and we have lots abroad as well, supporting British Forces families. So we've got Home Start in Cyprus as well. So we've been going a long time. And in Essex, I mean, we used to have lots of individual Home Starts, but we amalgamated to make us stronger, because we were sort of had offices all over Essex, and we thought if we had one central sort of point and we'd all grouped together, that would make us stronger in a position for funding, and also more recognisable with just one name rather than lots of different sort of branches. So Home Start in Essex has been going sort of over 35 years now. So, but people still don't really know who we are. And we get a lot of phone calls even now thinking that we're a breakdown service. Because I think years ago there was some sort of breakdown service where people would come and recover your car. And we still get calls to that day, oh, my car's broken down, which is just, we have to say, well, can I just stop you there? But, obviously we can't change the name. But I think the idea of it is that Margaret thought that support started at home. So, and helping parents. So that's how the name sort of grew from that, really.
Right. Okay. And that, it's quite amusing when you think about people phoning you up for car breakdowns and things like that.
Yeah.
And so I've been aware of Home Start for a while. Talk to me, certainly from an Essex point of view. Why do you think the service you provide is so important?
Well, I think for one thing, it's free. Everything we offer to families is free. There's no charge. It's not benefits tested. It's not means tested. It doesn't matter where you are on the scale. Our support is for everyone. So we would never turn anyone away based on, wealth or not having anything like that. It is literally for everyone. So I think that makes us quite unique in that we don't charge for any of our services, because obviously the volunteering visits, they're free. We run family groups, which are specifically for our Home Start families. So it's like an enclosed group. So it would only be for families that have been referred to us. And that makes them feel quite safe and secure, because going to a group on your own for the first time where you don't know anybody, and you turn up there and you've got sick on your shoulder and you porridge down your front, and you feel like everyone's looking at you. It's not like that at all. You're met at the door by one of our sort of volunteers or one of our coordinators. Everyone's really friendly and welcoming, and you come into that. So that's free. We offer wellbeing groups. for people that are struggling with their mental health, because we're finding that has a massive impact on people now, and certainly on the family as a whole. If the parent has got mental health issues, then that can have a knock-on effect on children. So we do a lot around mental health, especially, like I say, with the wellbeing group. And we've got another group called Mothers in Mind, which is just for mums with children up to age 2 to come that may be, you know, not confident to go out. And we try and do sort of art-based activities together and just mindfulness activities. And it's just somewhere to just come and breathe for a couple of hours every week. We also offer counselling, behavioural support, we do day trips, and obviously all of that is you know, relies on funding, because everything we provide is free.
Yeah, that's it. And that is the amount of stuff you are involved with is quite incredible, and it is such a resource that's so needed out there. So if someone, you say they come to your group, are they online? Are they face to face? Where can sort of people, what sort of the venues that people
The family groups,
at?
yeah, the family groups are face to face, and we normally sort of have to rent a local church hall. And we're quite lucky because we've got very good links within the community, the local churches, and some of the local councils, that they'll let us either have the whole sort of peppercorn sort of rent. Sometimes we get some for free, not always, but we do normally have to pay for the venue. But it's normally because, you know, we do such a lot of work with the local families. They're very kind and generous to us. So the Malden group is in the town hall there, and then we've got other groups, say like in Basildon and Brentwood, using the local churches, or sometimes the children's centres, they'll let us use a room there. Okay. So one of our biggest things is storage, because obviously we have lots of toys that we like the children to play with, and it's not always possible to leave them at some of the halls. So I do find myself, being on the fundraising team, my car is normally full of like collection buckets and flags and banners and things. So it's, you know, people are aware of us in the community. I think, you know, a lot of the local councils, we've had visits from the local, you know, mayors at different groups and MPs, which is really good, and it really helps to get our name out there when someone like that sort of visits us.
Yeah, and I think that's certainly, I can certainly deal with the pain in terms of storage, because sometimes my house is like a warehouse because of different projects and different bits of work that I can do. But I must admit, it's nice to hear that you've got that connection with those communities where you're at. So actually you can keep on this work and you can keep going, because actually, you know, having two daughters myself, I've seen a lot of this. We've been to Homestar centres, you know, in different parts of the county. So actually for me, it's great to have you on this podcast, because actually we can then share the work that you're doing. So in terms of where as an organisation you are now, what about where you're at the moment? How many areas do you cover across the county? Do you have any idea on sort of the numbers of families you probably help, or maybe the number of children that are impacted in what you're doing?
Yeah, okay, so we cover Mid, South and West Essex. So, and we also sort of work in the South End area as well. That's new to us. We expanded. We were lucky enough to do a little bit of expansion a few years ago into the South End area. So it's like Basildon, Brentwood, Billericay, Castle Point, Rochford and South End. And then West Essex, we've got Harlow, Epping and the Uttersford area, which is huge. And then in Mid Essex, we've got Chelmsford, Braintree and Malden. So we go up to sort of Halstead, sort of almost on the border. But we don't do Colchester or Clacton. They've got separate Homestar up there, because again, that's such a huge area. So we do cover quite a large area. So we're basically sort of those sort of core areas in the middle.
Right. Okay. And if you imagine where you're at now, what would you say your plans are for the next, say, 2-3 years? Are there, you know, is there a direction you want to go? Obviously, yes, you want to be supporting more people and getting the name out there. Are there big plans coming up, or what sort of things are you looking at?
Definitely
moving forward?
Well, we've just taken on 2 new members of staff to help with our fundraising. So we're hoping to increase the amount of fundraising activity. You know, a lot of funding is grants-based or trust-based. So we're exploring sort of more areas for that, and just different areas, because there are so many charities out there now that all, sort of want to put in applications. It's very difficult now to make your service sort of quite unique. So we're hoping that will help, and we're also hoping to do more sort of community-based events and more events in general as well, and fundraisers where people can come along and support us. We've got a big event coming up actually in October, and this is the Kobe bike ride. We did last year in Malden. We started in Promenade Park, and it's a massive bike. It looks like a spider, and it's got 7 seats. So you have the main rider in the middle and then 6 seats all the way round. And we did 10 loops of like 50 miles in total on this bike.
Wow.
To raise money, and it was amazing. It was such a good day, and people just, the bike raised a lot of attention, cycling past people. So we're doing that again in October. So if anyone wants to join us and have a seat on the bike, all the details are on our website. But we want to do more things like that. And we had a golf day recently, so we do a golf day every year. So we always welcome people to come and join us on our golf day, which is over at Braintree Golf Course. That's a really good day. We do lots of smaller community events, and then there are other organisations that will raise in aid of us. So they do little events themselves just to raise funds for us. So that's really nice. And we're always so grateful. It doesn't matter how much it is. We're just so grateful that people are thinking of us, So I think really what we'd like to do, one office space, and that's fine. We don't need lots of offices, but we've always talked in the past about, wouldn't it be amazing to have a shop, like a charity shop, because we do get people ring up and they've got lots of things to donate, cots and prams and things, but we can't always take them because of storage. And then we just think, wouldn't that be amazing to have like a charity shop where we can sort of pass these things on to people in need. But I think volunteers, we definitely want to get more volunteers so we can support more families, and also to offer more comprehensive training. The volunteers do online training, and obviously they're all DBS checked, but we'd like to offer more training because we're finding that we're getting more and more complex families now. So more sort of specific training to help the families would be amazing. We do offer some really great training, mental health, first aid, things like that, but just to do something a little bit different, and a little bit more specific, that would be really good.
Okay. So, part of this is to try and help get organisations out there a little bit more, and obviously people can go on and have a listen to this and have a listen to the podcast and have a look on YouTube and everything else. And you sort of moved me on to the next part of this. So volunteers. We know that obviously volunteering is a massive bloodline for a lot of organisations. Talk to me, how many volunteers have you got at the moment? But also, if we were then talking to people now going, look, actually, if you fancy volunteering, get in touch. How many hours are you expecting from them? What's the sort of journey for a volunteer with yourselves?
Okay, the best way to apply is through our website. There's a link on there, and there's a short application form to fill in. It's not too onerous, just tells us a little bit about you and who you are. We used to say that you had to be a parent, but it doesn't matter now. Don't have to be a parent as long as you're a good listener, kind, and you've got time to spare. So we're asking for a commitment of at least sort of 2 to 3 hours a week to visit a family. So some volunteers like to help out in groups. So they like to come along to one of the groups and play with the children, chat with the mums, and that's their sort of, that's what they like to do. But we also have volunteers that do fundraising, and we've had sort of volunteer drivers in the past. So they would fill the form out, and then that obviously, gets looked at by our volunteer coordinator, who is a lovely lady called Charlotte, and she would then have a sort of chat with them. And then we run regular online training courses. So I think it's only about 4 to 6 hours of training online, and that covers everything, safeguarding, which is very important, and what to expect in your role as a volunteer. We also have lots of ongoing support. So we have regular training, regular check-in sessions and peer support where groups of volunteers meet with other volunteers and chat about any concerns they may have. The coordinator will do a check-in with their volunteer on a fortnightly basis just to check everything's going okay. And then what we have now is we have like a volunteer diary. So it's online. So if a volunteer goes to visit a family, they then fill in the little online diary and just say, you know, what date they visited, roughly what time, and what they did with the family. Because we're finding now that more and more funders want to see evidence of how our support is impacting, you know, on the family. So they want to see what happened, you know, did they go to the library? Yeah, amazing. Or maybe they went swimming, or mum had a doctor's appointment, so she wanted someone to go along with her for support, because that's not always easy. And we find that a lot of families now are quite isolated, because I think with what's happened over the last few years, they don't really like leaving their home. So sometimes for someone to go round and say, look, come on, it's a nice day, should we go to the park? And to actually have someone to go with, they might think, oh, well, do you know what? Yeah, I will, because I've got the support of, say, Diana to come with me, and I don't feel quite so lonely, or I don't feel like everyone's looking at me. So it just makes a huge impact on their well-being and their self-esteem, I think, you know, and getting the children out of the house. And just things like doing a bit of a tidy up, you know, when you have a room and it just, everything gets a bit overwhelmed, you know, just have someone saying, oh, should we do that together? Let's have a little, you know, let's put those clothes away together. You know, they could have sat for weeks, couldn't they, thinking, oh, I really don't want to do that. And then it comes, you know, it becomes a bit of a sort of a worry for people. So just having that sort of figure to go around and say, you know, what do you want to do today? Should we tackle that? Or do you just want to talk? Or, you know, and it's not just lady volunteers that we have male volunteers as well, and very successful case stories with our male volunteers. So in terms of families supported, we supported 870 families in the last year. So that's 1,859 children benefited from our support. So 302 families were supported via one-to-one with the volunteer. 419 accessed the family groups. So that was amazing. And we had 84 sessions of wellbeing groups accessed by 100 families. And then we organised 20-day trips and events, and that was accessed by 106 families. So we do things, you know, we do things where we've gone and planted seeds, or gone on a train trip, because some children never been on a train before. We did one recently where, thanks to some sort of generous local funding, we took all the children on a short train trip. It was only one stop, but for them it was amazing. They all did lots of pictures of their day, and it's really lovely when you get feedback as well from families to say, you know.
I think as well, I think a lot of people take these sort of things for granted. Because I see this in what I do a lot as well. And the fact that, you know, it might be, for example, that we'll run an event in a 10-pin bowling venue. But then you say the amount of children that have never been bowling. Or the amount, as I say, I remember talking to a teacher who said that he brought his children from his school in London to Stratford, because we were running a swimming gala. But some of the children had never been on the train before. They'd never been on public transport before. And you're sitting there going, wow. You know, and actually these are things that, fortunately, we're in a position where actually we can offer these to our children, or this is just part of how we work or what we do. But there are so many children, you know, certainly locally now, that have never
getting these
experiences.
And even you say like things, you know, like swimming, the cost is quite prohibitive now, isn't it? You know, and if you've got a couple of children, and you know, everything's just going up, and we have found that a lot. We've had a lot of families referred because of the cost of living crisis. We work very closely with the food banks, so we are able to refer families to the food banks. And also from the local council, we did have a household support fund. So we were able to help families out with their costs of gas and electricity. But that's obviously come to an end now. And it's like, I know the weather's kind of okay at the moment, but you just think, well, going forwards now, what will happen to them? You know, it's quite sort of upsetting, really, before I started working for Homestar, I've been here 12 years now. And I sort of knew about it. But until I actually got involved with it, you don't realise what situations people are facing. And, you know, I used to come home, and I still do now, and sort of give myself a bit of a pinch and think, do you know what, you don't know how lucky you are, I think, sometimes to have the home that you have and you know, the family around you, because not everyone has that. We find that a lot of families are new to the area. They might have been sort of moved here, fleeing domestic abuse. They don't know anybody. You know, they've got no family, or maybe they have got family, but they don't talk to that family. So, you know, a lot of families, you know, it's very complex. And I think now you don't have that kind of support with your neighbours, maybe, that you used to.
Yeah.
And people are all sort of looking out for each other. Everyone's quite, you know, in their own little bubble now, aren't they? So I think there's not so much of that going on. So we try and sort of introduce that to people. Just show them kindness, really, I think, is the most important thing, isn't it? And I think they come to us as a last resort. I think just making that phone call to us, because a lot of our referrals come through, say, like the GPs, children's centres, schools, nursery schools, that kind of thing, social care. But a lot of people do self-refer. So I think to even get in touch with us, to maybe make that phone call and recognising that they need some sort of help, is such a huge step. And we always, you know, say, oh, well, you've done the right, you know, the first thing you've done is you've actually got in touch with us. Let's see if we can help you, you know. And I think they think, phew, you know, they feel like a weight's been lifted, you know, because quite often they've been passed around in the system, you know, and they're like, oh, you're my last type, they've given me your number, you're my last sort of, you know, call, can you help us? And you're like, well, if we can't, you know, we obviously always try and put them in touch with another service that maybe can. So we do support children in the family home up to sort of age 11.
Okay. And as you say, I think actually anyone who self-refers, anyone who realizes actually they need that support, that is a massive big hand to them.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I do a lot of work around mental health. So I do a lot of work, and starting to do some work around men's mental health and other areas. But actually that first moment of realizing you need support and actually picking up that phone and going, look, can I come down, or can I come and see you? Such a huge step.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And you saying about the men's mental health is, you know, we'd love to do something specifically for dads. We did do a dads group a couple of years ago, and it was an online one, and it was very successful. But obviously that was due to funding. But yeah, we'd love to do something where dads could come, you know, with the children and meet other dads. That would be amazing. We'd love to do something specifically.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I just think it's so vital that a lot of these things seem really, when you're within it, so when you're a family member and you are struggling, you feel that actually you're not sure of the way out.
Yes.
Because you're so within it.
Yeah.
And obviously then you're withdrawing back, so you're becoming more isolated.
Yes.
Actually, the biggest thing is, and the most important thing is, asking for help.
Yeah.
Because you realise actually then not only you're not the only one going through it. So actually there's other people that can relate to what you're saying.
Yeah.
But actually you're then going to be part of, because for me, listening to you talk, you've got a community. And I think communities are so important now, in terms of, it may not be the community that is your neighbour, but actually you're then stepping into a community where if you're doing a weekly class or a weekly group or a monthly, the likelihood you're going to see the same people. And actually you're going to be making bonds with those people as well, because you understand each other and you understand what each other's going through.
Absolutely. You know, lots of our families have gone on, you know, made sort of firm friends at the group with other mums, and they've supported each other as well. And that's really lovely to see. But I think people also, even if they have got their family around them, they probably feel like they can't tell their family everything, because they say they don't want to burden them with how they're really feeling. It's like when someone says, oh, hi, how are you? And you're like, oh, thanks, when really you just want to go, well, actually, you know, and you can't always do that with your own family, because you don't want them thinking, oh no, and then they're worrying about you. So it is really nice to offload on someone that is just like, right, okay, let's have a chat about this, you know. So that really does help.
Yeah, it is vital. And having seen some of the work you do, it really is vital. So in terms of, so obviously we'll look at the volunteers. Is there anything else where you think actually the biggest thing, this will be the biggest thing? We all know that sort of non-profits and charities and CICs and all these groups, they need funding. We've talked about sort of volunteering and volunteers. Is there anything else that you can think of that you can actually, someone could listen to this and you'll go, actually, this is really what we need?
It's difficult, isn't it? Like you say, funding is the biggest
Yeah,
crutch, really.
yeah. And it might be another organisation listening to this and going, well, actually, we want to work with you.
Yeah.
Because I don't, you know, and this is a personal belief, that actually we need to be working closely, not necessarily, you know, I'm glad we're having this conversation because already I'm now thinking actually there might be stuff that where I'd like to speak to you away from this and go, actually, would you consider this?
Yeah.
But actually that's, for me, that's not the purpose of this. The purpose for this is to be able to go, this is get you out to the general public, getting people being more aware of what you're doing and also how they can help. But actually, you know, there's probably other organizations who can potentially go, well, actually, okay, so you work with parents and children and family members and stuff like that. Actually, we work with this group. Is there a way that we could do stuff together? Because as you said, link up, joint bid writing, joint going into different things together. Because you said, you know, you had a lot of the Homestar areas, but actually you came together for strength. And I'm a big believer that if you collaborate more, actually you'll be stronger in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. I think linking up with community, like-minded community groups, and like I say, they might offer something for us, and we might be able to support them with something, you know, with families that they've got or issues that they're sort of dealing with. So just to make people more aware of us really and what we actually do, you know, and how vital our support is, I think, you know, because there is a lot of support out there, but is it necessarily the right type for people? And again, like I say, it's free. Everything we offer is free. So, you know, I think our biggest challenge will still be, you know, our costs, because obviously we do have paid staff. Of course you do. You have to, but we don't, you know, no one's sitting here earning thousands of pounds. Of course they're not. But we have to keep our core costs going because we're the people that can actually help these families. So we need to have the staff with the training. We need to have the staff that have done all the training courses that can help deal with special education needs. We've got a special education needs coordinator who's amazing, and that was a new thing for us, was establishing a send group. It would be amazing to give more training to our staff to establish another one, because that's in the north of Essex. So it'd be great to establish another one of those because it's been so popular. It really has. And to have that inclusive environment as well, where you don't feel, you know, judged or stressed when you attend. So that would be great to expand on that and just expand on our services overall. I think everyone's got an idea of something. Like, so I love the idea of the shop, you know, just things like that really. But yeah, at the heart of it always going to come down to funding. And even though you feel like you're in quite a strong position, you could always do more. And we always want to do more. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, no, incredible. So we're just going to finish up. So in terms of, I sort of mentioned this to you before we came on air. So if someone was listening to this now, what one action would you like them to take right now?
Well, I'd love you to visit our website, which is www.home-staressex.org.uk. Go on the website because there is a lot of information on there, and it tells you all about the impact that we're having with local families. We've got events on there. There's a thing all about volunteering. You can apply to be a volunteer. You can donate on there. Our impact report is on there, so you can, you know, read about the difference that we are actually making in the local community. So it's a real hive of information on there, and tells you more all about us. It's got the staff photos and things on there as well, so you can sort of look at who's who, which is always nice, isn't it? And a face to a name. And also, obviously, we're on social media. So if we, follow us on social media, we always put photos on there. I think our most popular ones are the day trips and the things that we do with the children and the families. So we're always putting really good stuff out there. But yeah, definitely visit the website.
Right. No, that's amazing. So anyone who is watching this or listen to this, please go on their website, have a look, see what you can do. From first-hand experience, it is a vital service. And the worst thing that we could ever have is that service not being there. So let's get behind. Let's look at what we're doing. If you are part of another organisation, you think there's something you can work with them on, get in touch. It really is about let's getting that message out there. Let's get the awareness out there. Jackie, it's been great having you on.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Send me the details for the Labour event.
Oh yes,
and then we can start sharing everything as well from our side as well.
Excellent. That'd be fantastic.
And then we'll go from there. Thank you everyone for tuning in and listening in. I'm Dom Fenton. This is the Charity Connector, and we'll see you again next time. Take care now. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.